She is a doctor of chemistry, and she's a great activist helping to fight to get poisonous fluoride and other chemicals out of our water. And she's running for city council and getting some momentum. I see her signs up all over town. Laura Presley, who's been a guest on the Nightly News a few times, and she's with Fluoride Free Austin, running for city council. Others can do this in your area around the country. We're going to break in a moment. When we come back, what are you going to be covering? Why are you running for city council? And we'll also get into the good news that UT is going to provide fluoride-free water fountains.
Yes. Hi, Alex. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
You bet. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm running for the Austin City Council, and I got really mad. Fluoride was one of the big issues that got me really, really furious about the city council wouldn't put a warning on water bills for children. And if you just look even now, New Hampshire has mandated, the state of New Hampshire's mandated warnings on fluoridated water bills for infants. And so we asked the city council to do this. They didn't do it. I've also spoken out against the TSA scanners, and I got really mad, so I decided to do something about it. I listened to you, decided to do something about it, and run for city council.
Well, you're a smart, sharp lady. You might get in there if the electronic voting machines don't stop you. But regardless, you're going to really have a bully pulpit now when they laugh at you and laugh at other doctors and chemists and professors you bring in. But as you pointed out, UT admits, oh, yeah, the government says lower the amount of fluoride, that it's poisonous to kids. The American Medical Association says stop giving it to little kids. But the city council's still laughing at people.
Yeah, there's the good reason people do things and the real reason. And I think the real reason that they do not get fluoride out is they are, follow the money. They're very concerned about some grants that they get from the Centers for Disease Control. They give Austin City Council about $7 million worth of grants, and I think they are really worried about losing that money if they get fluoride out. There's several council members that know the truth, they know what's going on, and they still won't take action. So I'm here to provide that leadership and stick my neck out and make this happen.
Well, good, because the feds take our money, send 30-something cents back, and then try to tell us that we've got to have fluoride because they love us so much. When we come back, though, because you're a chemist, break down what's really in the so-called fluoride and what's going on with it and all the new information coming out and what happened with the UT. And then we need to talk about how people get behind your candidacy. But as we go to break, what's the website for people to contact you at?
So our website is PresleyForAustin.com, PresleyForAustin.com.
So one more time for people.
PresleyForAustin.com.
We've got it on screen for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. Folks, get behind her, get her in office. But regardless, she's going to be in there at all those debates, hell-bent on getting this poison out of our water. Stay with us. Tell us how you woke up to fluoride, and let's go through all the big developments, because you keep your nose to the grindstone studying the fight, and we're starting to really win here. So our offensive is winning. And then we'll get into your campaign that can be a model for other areas of the country and the world. You've got the floor.
Thanks, Alex. So with regard to fluoride, I was on thyroid medication for about 8 years, and my symptoms kept going up and down, and I really couldn't, my symptoms really weren't stable. So I got really frustrated with taking medication. So I did a lot of research on, what is causing my thyroid issues, because I didn't have any genetic predispositions, no family members had any fluoride or thyroid issues. So I did a lot of research, and lo and behold, found out through you and a lot of other Dr. McCullough and also Mike Adams how bad fluoride is for your thyroid. Your thyroid wants iodine. We give it fluoride instead, so it uptakes that and it doesn't work correctly. It seems very, very simple. And if you look at the periodic table, fluoride and iodine are in the same column, and so that means they have their electronic structure is very similar. So what your thyroid does, it uptakes the fluoride instead of the iodine, because that's what you're giving it majority in your diet. The water and the tea and soups and rice, when we cook all that, the fluoride stays in those foods.
And you're a chemist, so all that made sense.
All of it made very sense, incredible sense to me. So I looked at the data and went, oh, this is what's going on with me. So I stopped ingesting fluoride. I stopped completely drinking any water or any fluids with fluoride in it. Foods, I stopped drinking tea, and I only drank purified water that had no fluoride in it. 6 months, my symptoms were gone. I'd been on medication for 8 years, and within 6 months, all of my symptoms were gone. My allergies were improved. My migraines were improved. I was on thyroid medicine, allergy medicine, migraine medication. I'm completely off of that. I'm 50 years old, and I'm on no drugs.
You're 50? You don't look 50.
I'm 50 years old and on no medications. Isn't that wonderful? I don't, I used to, 1 year I remember is about 8 years ago, I maxed out my major medical for health issues. When we drink really pure water, we worry about organic food, but where's our organic water?
But they know. I mean, as you know, I've had the medical doctors on and brain surgeons. It doesn't just hit your thyroid. It's hitting all your organs. Also, it magnifies, as you know, all the other drugs and toxins. It's a adjuvant, basically.
Yes, and even your intestines. Fluoride is a disinfectant. So you kill all the good bacteria and all the good flora that's in your stomach to help you digest and process these nutrients of foods, and we're missing that also. So when you take fluoride out of your diet, you will see a huge improvement in your health. When's the last time people went to the doctor and they said, I have thyroid issues, I have migraine issues, I have swelling issues, and the doctor says, stop drinking the tap water and then come back to me in a month and I'll tell you whether you need a drug or not.
And then it's not just the tap water. They spray it on the crops, which last year,
it's a pesticide.
Last year, finally, under pressure, the FDA had to admit, oh my gosh, stop using this, phase it out, but not quick enough because it bioaccumulates. And then, I mean, it just goes on, and it's in products. We are just inundated with it.
We are inundated with it. And if we take it out of our diet, our bodies work the way they're supposed to. So that was a huge revelation to me. And I got recruited by Fluoride Free Austin because of my chemistry background and my health improvement experiences. And I wanted to bring that knowledge to the city council. So here I am presenting this data, chemical data, to the city council. And I think, oh, a couple weeks we'll present the data. I'll be back at work. They'll make the right decision. 2 years later, they're still not doing it. And it just got me furious. And we even backed up. We said, let's back up. Let's put a warning on the water bill for infants. And we said, you know what, that's a slam dunk. The city council should do that pretty easily. We got really good feedback from my opponent who I'm running against in the city council race. And he gave us, very high confidence as, yes, we'll get this warning on the water bill. And it didn't happen. And I got really furious. And while I'm sitting there testifying to the city council on all these issues, these health issues, I see other groups coming up, presenting information to them, property rights issues, on, and they still wouldn't make the right decision. So I said, I need to run and make a difference because I've had it.
We're going to talk about that now. Other people should run. Bare minimum, you win by running just to educate people. But expanding on this, tell folks, because I've read, depending on what so-called fluoride the city's buying, there could be hundreds of things. It's just raw waste. And even the top dentist in Canada, he's been out in the news in the last few years. We even interviewed him once, saying, a decade ago, got Canada fluoridated because I thought it was just a little sodium fluoride. This is toxic waste. Explain what they're putting in the water.
So what they're putting is a commercial grade hydrofluorosilicic acid, and it's a very strong chemical. Fluoride is, and if you look at the material safety data sheet for this, it's H2SiF6 is what it is, and they even warn that ingesting this can cause a lot of health issues. So they're putting this in our water. It's not pharmaceutical grade. It is commercial grade. It's a byproduct of the fertilizer industry. And, my big issue is I wouldn't want even commercial grade sodium fluoride in my water because there's no dosage control. It's a medicine. You can't go to a pharmacy and purchase it. You can only get it with a prescription.
And they now admit it's causing the teeth to get fluorosis. And even the American Dental Association says don't give it to kids under 5.
Yes, absolutely. So, there's no dose control. It's not pharmaceutical grade. I don't want it in my water, and a lot of people don't. LULAC, the League of United Latin American Citizens, last summer came out with a resolution that said stop medicating our population. You're doing it because of low-income families. Well, you know what? The Hispanic and Latino community are saying thanks, but no thanks. We got it. Our people are subject to diabetes, kidney disease, and these are health issues that are really aggravated with fluoride in the water. And we say no. We said, let people make their own decision. Don't make it where I can't have a choice.
We're putting bizarre quotes by the mayor, basically responding to the public out there. Who is the worst on the city council in Austin when it comes to laughing at people and making jokes about this?
There's multiple ones, and I would say the mayor is the most disrespectful, and also my opponent texts while people are presenting, pouring their heart out to both, and both of them are really disrespectful to citizens. And what really bothers me about the city council is you will go and present to them information for 3 minutes, you get done, there's no response. It's as if you are in a vacuum. They don't even respond to you.
No, back when we got the city council to throw out the Patriot Act, we didn't have the votes till I spoke, and it is one of the most more eloquent speeches I've given. But the mayor goes, I'm not going to sit here while you give your speech. I'm going to be back there. And he gets up and walks off the dais. But I was able to reach out to the one swing vote and get them to vote to nullify the Patriot Act here in town. And it was more ceremonial than anything. But it just shows the extreme arrogance. And that was another mayor before this guy. But he really is a joke. Talk about somebody on a power trip. Lee Leffingwell is a joke, not just to Texas, but the entire country. He's a true shame to the human race. Now, Doc, we're talking to Laura Presley, who's running for city council here in Austin, Texas. We'll tell you how to get involved in that in a moment. Hopefully this will spur others running their area. Let's get into UT, though. We had a big victory there, and I was reading the Statesman where they admitted it's much worse for women and blacks for whatever reason, the chemistry shows, and that now they're going to provide water fountains that don't have fluoride. Nicer restaurants are now advertising if they don't have it. It's catching on.
It is catching on. And UT, I testified to the UT student government. It's a group of students, undergrad and graduate students, representatives onto the student government. And many of us from Fluoride Free Austin presented the data. And this is the way it should happen, Alex. People should look at this information, make a good discernment of whether does it make sense, does it make not sense, and make a decision. And they made a decision very quickly. And it was so shockingly different than the city council that they don't look at the data and they pull up old information and just ignore us. But this was really excellent. You had technical students, you had business students, you had, liberal arts students, all looking at the information, and they made a decision. You know what? We should have several fountains at UT Austin that offer no fluoride, because you have sensitive groups. Women are sensitive to hypothyroidism. You have Hispanics and African Americans that are very sensitive to diabetes and kidney diseases, and those people are who we're...
And this is the beginning of them seeing the real science and then demanding water fountains that don't have poison in it, just like the elite don't drink fluoride water. They don't eat GMO. At the Monsanto facilities, it's Associated Press, their scientists demand non-Monsanto food in the cafeteria. So it's begun. I mean, but talk about all the other cities, what's going on. Whole cities are throwing it out.
Right. And I'll tell you one thing, Rick Perry, his facility, his home there is all fluoride free and all reverse osmosis. So he knows not to drink it here in Austin. Yeah, there's some great progress that's being made. Like I mentioned earlier, New Hampshire is amazing. Their House and their Senate passed a fluoride statement that's going to be required in their consumer reports for their public water supplies, and I'm going to read it. Your public water supply is fluoridated. According to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, if your child under the age of 6 months is exclusively consuming infant formula reconstituted with fluoridated water, there may be an increased chance of dental fluorosis. Consult your child's health care provider for more information. It's a little watered down, so to speak, but at least it gets the information out there.
At least you can get the councils to do one thing and admit the fluorosis, not the IQ reduction, the brain damage, the cancer, exactly, which is also admitted, but at least something.
At least something. At least it's a first step.
The door is opening. This is a huge victory.
Yeah, the camel's nose is under the tent.
But, I mean, look at one of the biggest counties, 1 million people in Florida, the county right by Tampa. You've got Calgary. It's happening everywhere.
It's happening in a lot of places, and we want Austin to be the next place. College Station, very close to us, where A&M is, they got their water, got fluoridation out of their water. Why can't Austin?
Lago Vista outside Austin?
Several areas.
It's happening. We can beat them, just like we beat not allowing farm children to do chores. Again, and they'll be back, but we've got to fight them again. That's the thing.
We don't give up, and Fluoride Free Austin's not going to give up. And by getting me on the council, there's, like I said, there are several members of that city council already that know the difference. They just need a leader to step up, stick their neck out. They're afraid. So you govern. It's interesting. I think politicians and your representatives are governed. Sometimes the corruption comes in two ways: either financial corruption or fear. And fear. They work off of fear in a lot of ways. I don't work off of fear. I have friends that tell me, you don't have the fear chip. And I don't. You don't have the fear chip in your brain. I don't have it in my brain. We just do what's right. Let's tell the truth.
And I hear you're also a shooter. I was in there talking to my buddy about how women are such great Olympic shots because they're calm. And you're like, hey, I'm like Annie Oakley.
That's what I've been called. I like revolvers better than the semi-automatics. I like it better.
Well, a revolver is a very elegant firearm, and it also in a jam when you're all nervous and really need it.
That's what I think. Yeah,
got a revolver right over here.
I bet you do.
So, yeah, we're just, you know.
Bet you do.
If I can't do it with 7 shots, look at it's a little 7-shot, 357. But we've got some semi-autos, too. I got a couple guns, 2 or 3. But to be sarcastic, I want to talk about how folks get involved in your campaign. But what else is on that big list you've got there? I've always said it's time to start suing them for medicating things that we know gives a 7-fold increase in cancer in boys. That's been known for decades. That's a fact. That is also toxic. I mean, but they're also on a defensive offense. Yes. They're saying, hey, let's put lithium in too. Let's put statins in. We're suddenly, you know, the White House science czars like, let's put stuff in the water to sterilize people. Suddenly they're like, you know what? We are putting stuff in your water. Sit down and shut up.
Yeah, I think, you know, with regard to Austin, we're going to try the council approach again. Get me on the council. There's a couple other members running for city council that if we could get us on there, you know, we do have a chance, a high, strong probability of getting fluoride out. If that doesn't work, there are lawsuit options, and Fluoride Free Austin is pursuing that, and there are different creative ways to do that. I know that the California lawsuit just got thrown out of court by the federal judge, and she said that just because the FDA hasn't approved this fluoride as a medication, you can't sue.
Let me tell you how to get them. You get you get a sample. You find out what company they've got. You buy some because, you know, they keep all that secret. You test it. When it's got the lead, the mercury, and the radioactive isotopes in it, you got them. You don't go after the fluoride. You go after the impurity of what they're using, and none of them are pure.
Right.
I'm telling you, that's the Achilles heel.
Right. I agree with you. I agree. There are a lot of approaches, and those are very creative approaches that haven't been done yet. So
yeah, you don't go the route they want with all their propaganda. You go, really, is uranium, is that good too?
Yeah, because the stuff's not...
It's over. You find the uranium in there, and it's in there. It's over.
Yeah, it's commercial grade. It's not pharmaceutical grade.
Oh, where they mine that limestone, I get tired in the 3rd hour, where they mine that, that's got the radioactive isotopes.
It's got a lot of stuff, got a lot of heavy metals in it. I mean, I worked in the semiconductor industry for 17 years. We wouldn't use that stuff for our chips. Okay, why are we using it for our bodies?
Amazing. Tell folks how they get involved in the campaign.
Yes, so the election day is May 12th. Early voting in Austin starts April 30th through May 8th. And so we want people, if you can't vote on May 12th, get out in early voting. There's a bunch of early voting events coming up in the next couple weeks. But we need volunteers, and I need donations. Our opponent is very wealthy. He's really tied into the developer and the subsidy system here in Austin, where we give a lot of subsidies to Apple Corporation, Formula One, Marriott Hotels downtown, where we're subsidizing all this growth.
Yeah, they give rich people our money.
That's right. You know, and that's
how the rich get rich, generally stealing people's money through government.
Absolutely. And I've said I'm not going to give our tax dollars to a bunch of rich corporations. I'm not going to do that. The other thing that the opponent has said, he goes, we can't have one of those Ron Paul supporters on city council because I've got a Ron Paul's bumper sticker on my car, and he has pointed that out at every one of these forums where we get endorsed.
Incredible. It's like it's bad. She's a libertarian. She wants freedom.
Well, I say I'm an independent.
She doesn't want us to forcibly medicate her. What a weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an independent, and I go with what's right.
Listen to that darn chemist pointing out this is deadly poison.
How dare she use her knowledge.
Did you see our hidden footage inside the water treatment plant?
I did see it. Good job.
They're like, you can't tape in here. We're like, we're going to.
Excellent job. So, yeah, we've gotten a lot of flack for being a Ron Paul supporter.
The extremism.
And so I want every single Ron Paul supporter in Austin who's registered to vote to come out and vote. I know we typically don't vote in city elections. Get out there. Get this guy out.
Yeah, we get 60% turnout national, 8% local. Get behind Miss Presley now. Today, we're going to give you her website when we come back. Give it out right now.
PresleyForAustin.com, and we need donations.
Presley,
donations.
You bet. We're going to be right back. Donations, folks. Send her to Austin. Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure. And it's available discounted at Infowars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. They're There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. Infowars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at Infowars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139. Global engineers are racing on every front to implement their program of domination because they know we're waking up. Yes, CISPA passed the House. It may pass the Senate. They did it in a little sneaky vote. Nobody knew it was coming, so a lot of the House wasn't there. And then if they try to implement it, we'll file lawsuits. Congress wants to know it's at the new NSA base. They've been told, go fly a kite, go jump in the lake. It's happening on every front. The Congress is being told they don't matter by the bureaucracy. This is a lawless group. We're having victories against them trying to say your kids can't do chores if they work on a farm. We're having victories. That's why they're rushing ahead. We're having victories on fluoride. Ron Paul talks about the huge awakening taking place. And on fluoride, that is one of the most important places. Bisphenol A is getting pulled out everywhere. When we take action, we can win. And that's why it's important for all of you to realize this is not hopeless. Doc, again, you're a Ron Paul supporter. All the Ron Paul people should get behind you because they've stolen the election from Ron Paul. He did win the first primaries. He's won by injecting real issues. Whether win, lose, or draw, you win. But it's time for all the Ron Paul people to run themselves. It's time to take this country back. They can't stop us all. I'm not an immoral person, and I've said on air, the globalists pose as patriots, like Mitt Romney's going to do, and get elected. What if we, I'm not saying this is good, but what if we played along, I'm not saying do this, as sleeper ops and acted like globalists to get in and then did what they did? I mean, it is getting to that point. I'm not saying we should do that, but side issue. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. Other points you'd like to make. Again, how do people get involved with you locally?
Okay, so yes, we need volunteers. We need block walkers over the next week. So please email us through our contact page at presleyforaustin.com. And the other big issues with the city council, fluoride is a big issue, all right? TSA is a big issue. The subsidies that this council is giving to Apple Corporation, $8.6 million to create 300 jobs a year for the next 10 years. Alex, we could do this with our small businesses in town. I have a small business. I don't get a subsidy. You don't get a, I hear you.
Oh, I'm trash. I'm trash.
You don't get a subsidy. So don't you imagine $9 million could create 300 jobs a year in Austin pretty easily without giving it to Apple?
Is Apple going to put suicide nets up around their offices?
Well, I don't know about
Are they going to bring slaves? You know, they have suicide nets at their other offices.
Oh.
In China, they have so many suicides.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
I hear you. I hear you. No.
I wonder if the city will pay for the suicide nets. Because Al Gore's got to get every dime he can.
So my opponent votes for all these subsidies, and he actually made a comment that the city needs to mitigate the risk for these corporations coming into Austin bringing jobs. And I say, no, you don't mitigate my risk as a small business, and I don't think we should be subsidizing these large corporations. It's ridiculous. So that's another big area that we're different from our opponent. And but I need people for block walking this week in Austin and donate to our campaign. We've got several ads going on, and we've got other stuff coming up in the next.
And your campaign's got quite a bit of momentum. You could win.
We have more yard signs than the opponent by far, probably 10x. And we've got large signs. We've got ads on. I'm going to tell you, your competitor Rush Limbaugh. We put some ads on his show.
You mean locally? No, I'm on 590.
Locally, and we did.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm on 590. I'm not in competition with Rush Limbaugh.
We're hitting the conservatives because this really resonates with conservatives. Stop giving our money out. Hold the city council accountable for the bad decisions, financial decisions they're making. They're raising our electric rates. They could be cutting costs instead of just spending and taxing.
Just to be clear, I'm not in competition with Limbaugh. Everywhere I'm put on up against him, we're getting better ratings than him.
I know that.
So I mean, my point is, Rush is fading off into a Prozac-induced or is it Oxycontin-induced haze, and we hope he wakes up and becomes a real patriot and fights the New World Order and stops denying it now that it's open in plain view. Well, good job on your work, and I hope people get behind you. Doc, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Alex. You're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. You're wonderful. One more time, the website.
PresleyForAustin.com.
All right, PresleyForAustin.com. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. And we've got a lot of videos and news posted right now at Infowars.com. A lot of breaking news. And remember, Big Brother does not want people to see this site, so please spread the word about Infowars.com. Big show tonight, 7 o'clock, Infowars Nightly News. PrisonPlanet.tv. You don't need me to tell you that humanity is in a deep crisis. Everyone can feel it. We know a tectonic struggle is now taking place between the forces of freedom and those who love darkness, bondage, and enslavement. Yes, my friends, evil is rising. But take heart. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Recently, New World Order operative Hillary Clinton admitted they're losing the info war.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
The globalists are scared. They've overreached. The future of the info war is in your hands. Join PrisonPlanet.tv. Download the thousands of special video reports, ebooks, and more, and get them out to everyone you know. Continue to spread the word about the broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and every other globalist propaganda platform. We are going to use their system against them. The info war now goes into high gear.